Everybody, we're live on YouTube.
Thank you, Justin. Well, in a couple of minutes here, I'm going to call on Jim Geyer, the pastor of Summit Church here in Simpsonville, to do our invocation. Jim, are you ready?
I am, whenever you are, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Okay, for everybody who's watching online, I will tell you that our agendas and meeting materials are shared at simpsonville.com/meetings. Prior to every Simpsonville City Council meeting, we have an invocation. We invite members of the audience or members of the public to join our meeting and deliver an invocation. We invite all faiths and ask that they deliver an invocation that is true to their faith and practices and suitable for the solemn nature of this meeting. Tonight, we have Reverend Jim Geyer from Summit Church. They're just getting ready to open on West Curtis Street, and he has agreed to come and deliver our invocation. Pastor Geyer, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Father, we acknowledge that you are sovereign, and we're thankful for health. We're thankful for a time to be able to be together, even though it be in the venue that we're in. Lord, I thank you for our leaders. I thank you for those people who have said, I will sacrifice of time, family, resources to serve others. So I want to express my gratitude for these who serve our city and the people of it. I do pray for the peace and prosperity for our city. I pray for wisdom. Lord, I pray that in their time tonight, Lord, that you will give them clarity of mind, that you will give them wisdom even beyond their own knowledge, and that you will give them unity. Again, as I pray, your prophet Jeremiah prayed for nothing more than the peace and prosperity of our city. And I bring all these things to you because you command us to do so, and we are privileged to do so. In the name of your Son, Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Geyer. You're certainly welcome to stay for the entire meeting, but you won't offend us if you decide to log out and go do other things. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, we have just about a minute to go until meeting time, so if you'll bear with us, we will at 30. Just so that you're aware, I do have two screens running tonight. I have my laptop, which I'm hosting the meeting on, and also you'll see Mayor's iPad, which is where I'm going to be sharing, doing my screen sharing from, but I need to be able to see members of council to see if they're asking for the floor to speak. So that's why I'm running two screens, and you see me logged in twice. Okay, it's 6:30. I call to order the October 13th, 2020 Simpsonville City Council business meeting. City Clerk Long, if you would call the roll, please.
Councilmember Gooch?
Here.
Councilmember Kay? Here. Councilmember Houlihan?
Here.
Councilmember Roche? Councilmember Cummings?
Here.
Councilmember Hutchings?
Here.
Mayor Shoemaker.
Here.
You have a quorum?
Thank you, Clerk Long. The first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from September 8th, 2020. Everyone will have received a copy of these minutes. Are there any corrections? Hearing none, the minutes will stand as written. We invite citizens to make citizen comments. We are always ready for those comments and enjoy hearing from the citizens during council meetings. During this time where we're meeting virtually, what we've asked people to do is to either call my office and leave a message on my voicemail, which can then meeting. You can record a message using your smartphone or any other kind of a device, and it's fine if it's audio or fine if it's video, as long as you meet the rules of having standing in the city and keep it to 3 minutes. But we do enjoy hearing those comments. Did not receive any comments for tonight. I just wanted to pass that along to the public if you wanted to comment at any future meeting. So without comments, I think, actually I was looking at the minutes from the last meeting and I missed an item on the agenda. I'm supposed to be reading a proclamation for Red Ribbon Week. So I will read that proclamation now. Whereas communities across America have been plagued by numerous problems associated with illicit drug use and those that traffic them, and whereas there is hope in winning the war on drugs, and that hope lies in education and drug demand reduction, coupled with the hard work and determination of organizations such as the Marine Corps League, foster a healthy drug-free lifestyle, and whereas governments and community leaders know that citizen support is one of the most effective tools in the effort to reduce the use of illicit drugs in our communities, and whereas the Red Ribbon has been chosen as a symbol commemorating the work of Enrique Kiki Camarena, a Drug Enforcement Administration agent who was murdered in the line of duty and represents the belief that one person can make a difference. And whereas the Red Ribbon campaign was established by Congress in 1988 to encourage a drug-free lifestyle and involvement in drug prevention and reduction efforts, and whereas October 23rd through 31st has been designated National Red Ribbon Week, which encourages Americans to wear a red ribbon to show their support for a drug-free environment. Now, therefore, I, Paul Shoemaker, Mayor of the City of Simpsonville, do hereby proclaim the week of October 23rd through 31st Red Ribbon Week in the City of Simpsonville, and urge all citizens to join me in this special observance. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 13th day of October in the year of our Lord 2020, and of the City of Simpsonville, South Carolina. Thank you. All right, first item on our business agenda, I'm having trouble talking tonight, a little tongue-tied, so I'll go a little slower, is item A, resolution number 2020-06, Cotton Mill ID assignment and assumption agreement. Planning and Economic Development Director Jason Knudsen, will you summarize for us?
Sure, thank you, Mayor. As you just mentioned, this is an assignment and assumption agreement. After counseling with David Holmes, it was decided that this would be the simplest way to go forward with an assignment for new ownership at the cotton mill, so that our development agreement still goes forward as planned. It will just be a different entity that will be receiving refunded tax amounts. And so in your staff packet was given the resolution that will be necessary to pass this, as well as that agreement that has been checked and revised to meet the what we need to have done to get this agreement approved. If you have any questions, I'd be more than glad to answer them.
Thank you. Before we go on to a motion, I would like to note for the record that Councilmember Roche has joined the meeting prior to us beginning business. So a motion is in order. Councilmember Hutchings. Councilmember Hutchings, you need to unmute your microphone.
Mayor and Council, I make a motion to approve resolution 2020-06, Cotton Mill ID assignment and assumption agreement.
Second.
So we have a motion by Councilmember Hutchings with a second by Councilmember Kelly to approve resolution number 2020-06, Cotton Mill ID Assignment and Assumption Agreement. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, seeing no one raising their hand, I believe we're ready for the question. So on the motion to approve resolution number 2020-06, Cotton Mill ID Assignment and Assumption Agreement, we'll have City Clerk Long, will you do a roll call vote, please? I believe she can hear us, or maybe she can't see. Administrator Gracely, will you do a roll call vote for us, please?
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Gooch. Councilmember Kelly.
Yes.
Councilmember Houlihan.
Yes.
Councilmember Roche. Councilmember Roche.
Yes.
Councilmember Cummings.
Yes.
Councilmember Hutchings.
Yes.
And Mayor Shoemaker.
Yes.
Okay, the vote's unanimous.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is mural design and cost approval. Administrator Gracely, I'll have you summarize while I put up the graphic.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. We're excited to present to you the second of the two murals that were funded through a donation out of his discretionary funding by Chairman Kervin of Greenville County Council, and also from this council and the A-Tax Advisory Committee with state accommodations tax funding. If you recall, we had a total of $10,000 available to do the two murals between those two funding sources. The first mural cost more than half the allocation. It ended up being $6,750, and you all voted to allow us to proceed with that, despite the fact that it was a little higher than we had initially thought it might be, because of the nature of the design and the fact that we painted the entire wall and we didn't stop at one point on the wall. We did the entire thing, which I think netted a much better product. I know you all are excited about it. We've all spoken, and there's been a lot of buzz on social media and around town about the quality of the mural. Committee did meet again with Miss Lacey Hennessy, who was the artist for the first mural, and she presented a design concept for the second. The design concept for the second mural, total price, she actually presented 3 different concepts, and the one that blew the committee away, the selection committee, is the one that you're going to be seeing on your screen when the mayor shares it. And that is, there you go. It's the concept of a drive-in movie theater. We were looking to find some sort of Americana, nostalgia, something to exude patriotism without being something as obvious as a flag. And this is what Ms. Hennessy came up with, and we're thrilled. It actually, this is going to be on the wall next to a slice of Brooklyn, right by Danny's Fixin' and Filling. And there are always cars parked along that wall. And so we wanted something interactive that would incorporate the vehicles that are typically there. And so a concept was introduced at the committee meeting about possibly doing a drive-in theater. And then Ms. Hennessy very cleverly used elements from the city's branding to go along with this design. So you'll see, if we're moving from left to right, you'll see there's a nod to the state flag with the palmetto tree and crescent moon. The actual movie screen with the countdown, rather than a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it's the S, which is part of our branding concept. And then there are stars, with the stars incorporate the diamonds, as well as the neon sign incorporates the diamonds in those. It's a great photo opportunity for folks who are visiting Simpsonville and maybe want to park their car there. We did have some comments on the other mural. There's a gentleman who kept asking if he could park his Mustang in front of the Simpsonville balloons. This, of course, is a much more accommodating location for vehicles to park and take cars. So people who have classic cars would certainly be able to drive their cars up to that mural and take a photograph. So as I mentioned, we spent $6,750 on the first mural. This concept comes with a price tag of $7,600. Now we have been very gratefully offered a donation from Mr. Hunter Howard in the amount of $1,600 to help defray the cost to the city. And Safi contacted me last week and wants to donate $1,000 to help defray the cost. So when you take those two donations into account, it only puts us at $1,750 over budget. And Ms. Farino and I have looked at the accommodations tax funding requests that are in play right now for this current fiscal year. And of course, there are a lot of events that were canceled due to COVID. And so what we're suggesting is that we take that additional $1,750 and just move the funding around in the accommodations tax funding to account for that additional expense. So that was a very long summary. I apologize for that, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Administrator Gracely. A motion is in order. Councilmember Gooch.
I move we approve the mural as proposed.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Gooch with a second from Councilmember Kelly to approve the mural as proposed. Discussion, Councilmember Gooch.
In this mural, one, I like the idea, especially the theater, because there used to actually be a movie theater in this building many years ago. Known or not by the folks who designed it, I don't know, but it's a nice way to reach back into our past. For those who are making a donation, is there something that we'll do to recognize them with that donation?
So we did discuss having a very small corner of the mural where Miss Hennessy can paint. This mural made possible by the City of Simpsonville, the Honorable Butch Kervin, Hunter Howard Sr., and the Simpsonville Arts Foundation. So it would not really be a central focus of the mural, but it would be painted on there in the corner so that would, in perpetuity, note how we were able to fund that project.
All right, and the last question, what would the time frame be for this?
If council votes affirmatively tonight, she will start on this October 19th, weather permitting. So, and she worked very quickly the first time. This one may take a little bit longer. There's a little more detail work, but I would think probably 2 weeks or less from start to finish.
I recall on this building, there may have been a mural at some point on the end of this building, but it may be so faded now as to be not even visible. Has that been looked at? Okay.
I'm not aware of that. Does anybody else know?
It may have been an old Coca-Cola, something or Pepsi, but for many, many decades ago. And then, are you having any luck finding other locations for more murals around town? I know you were looking into some things.
Mm-hmm. I think once the Arts Center project is finished, probably something on the back of the Arts Center building would be great because it would help incorporate the amphitheater and the Arts Center building together.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Roche.
Can you hear me? Is anyone hear me?
That works. Just hold it
That
really
does?
close.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let everyone know that going into this, none of us on the committee had any idea how much murals actually cost. So I know that it was a goal to keep it under $5,000. Since doing these, we've been made aware that a mural the size of the one at the ice cream station, for instance, can run in the $20,000 range. So I say that to say I have no problem with the extra expense, considering that it's actually a bargain, and the quality of work that Lacey has given us. I mean, she's really given us her best, and she's offered to go and fix certain things, add things at no extra charge. And these murals will also she's putting a coating on them that will make it graffiti proof, basically, and really set these in. So this is a long-term investment. It's not something that's just going to wash away and, a few years from now we will have to replace it. So just keep that in mind when you consider the cost, because, what could have been $40,000, and she'd have, definitely reasonable and customary reasons to charge us that much. I think we're actually getting a bargain with the quality. So we've been really pleased with her work.
All right, had to get my microphone on for me this time. Councilmember Hutchings.
I just want to say, also as a member of that committee, that it was a pleasure working with Mrs. Hennessy on both of those murals. She did, as I understand, make some major concessions on cost for both of these, and with no diminished quality of work. And also, I'd like to thank Mr. Howard and Safi for their kind donations to this project. I think both of these murals are going to be a great asset for our town.
Any other discussion? All right, I'll just add my comment as well. It was very enjoyable working with the committee. It was a very enjoyable thing to do, and really looking forward to seeing this one finished. It's going to be special along with the first one. Very, very fun thing to be involved in, and I thank all the committee that the work they did, and Lacey Hennessy for all of her work and her creativity. She brought us amplified what our thoughts were, I guess would be how I would put it. So if there is no further discussion, we're ready for the question. So on the motion for approving the mural design as proposed, all those in favor signify by saying aye on a roll call vote. I think maybe Clerk Long is still having difficulties. Administrator Gracely?
I'm here.
She's here.
I'm
Okay.
here.
Clerk Long, will you do a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Councilmember Gooch.
Yes.
Councilmember Kelly.
Yes.
Councilmember Houlihan.
Yes.
Councilmember Roche.
Yes. Yes.
Councilmember Cummings.
Yes.
Councilmember Hutchings.
Yes.
Mayor Shoemaker.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Thank you, Clerk Long. All right, I'll take back control on my main computer here. For the next item on the agenda, item C, Memorial for Hunter Howard Sr. Administrator Gracely, will you summarize for us, please?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. You would have received from me in your packets a memorandum summarizing this item. Essentially, Hunter Howard Sr., who is very visible around the city and owns multiple properties, including the building on which these two murals are being painted, and was very instrumental in helping us get the alleyway project completed by donating a strip of his property to complete the entire alleyway. So and he really wanted some way to memorialize his father, who was Hunter Howard Jr., and evidently spent 20 years on the bench as a summer court judge, and was very active in the Simpsonville community as well. Hunter asked if there's a way that we could potentially name the alleyway in honor of his father, just by having a small plaque on the building that he owns where Poppy's Tacos is going to go. Not anything to detract from the mural side of the building, which he also owns, but something to just memorialize his father. And we actually discussed this concept briefly with the committee as we were talking about the mural. And everyone overwhelmingly thought that was a great idea, given the Howard family contributions, and to honor the request that Mr. Hunter Howard Sr. had made. So it would be a very small plaque, just denoting the contributions of his father. And it would just need an affirmative vote of council to name that alleyway in his honor.
Thank you, Administrator Gracely. A motion is in order. Councilmember Houlihan.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to move that council approve the memorial for Hunter Howard Sr. as presented by Administrator Gracely.
Second.
So I have a motion from Councilmember Houlihan with a second by Councilmember Hutchings to approve a memorial for Hunter Howard Sr. Discussion? Administrator Gracely?
I just want to clarify, it would be for Hunter Howard Jr. It's for Hunter Sr.'s father.
Okay, so.
Wait, no, Ms. Houlihan's right. I'm sorry, I'm getting my genealogy completely confused. Forgive me, Hunter Howard Sr. Senior comes before Junior. I've had a long day. Apologize.
Right. Thank you, Administrator Gracely. Discussion? Councilmember Houlihan.
I would just echo some of what Ms. Gracely said in terms of that. I think this is entirely appropriate to do to honor the legacy of Mr. Howard and all that he did for the city. And given that that alleyway project wouldn't even be possible without the Howard's cooperation and now the second mural for their gift, I think that it's entirely appropriate that we move forward with the memorial.
Councilmember Roche. Closer.
Try this. They
There we
can
go.
hear me now. That's the other side. There's a lot of background noise, otherwise I wouldn't be using this. We had also discussed, and I don't know if that idea was just scrapped, but we had talked about actually making an archway instead of just a plaque at the bottom on the Poppy's Tacos wall. Actually doing like an archway from one side to the other over that whole plaza and actually calling it Hunter or Howard Plaza or Hunter Howard Senior Plaza or something along those lines. Maybe Administrator Gracely can expound. I don't know. We may not have the budget for it, so but I did like that idea a lot.
Yes, thank you. Downtown master plan. We had talked with the consultants who were working with us on the master plan about doing those arches on either end of South Main Street. And so the more I thought about doing an arch right now, I think it may be a little premature because it would probably be better to match all of the arches at the same time. So if we're doing arches at either end of South Main, we would do the one over the alleyway at the same time, and they would all coordinate. They would have the same design and be manufactured by the same company.
Is there any other discussion? Councilmember Hutchings?
Yes, I just want to clarify. This will be a plaque mounted on the opposing wall to the mural in the alleyway. Is that correct? And then the credits for the other donations and so forth will be in that same general area. Is that right?
The credits for the other will actually be on the second mural in the corner of the second mural in very small print, just so you would have to walk up to it to see it. Just in case people are curious about how that came to be, then they would be able to see who provided contributions to make that possible.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? So I'll add my comments. I'm very much in favor of this, and I just want to say here to the comments from other council members about the Howards and their donations and making this possible. I think it's very fitting thing to do. I especially like the idea of calling it Hunter's Alley because not only does that honor their family, but it really provides even more of a sense of place. It's something that you can say and people will understand what you mean. As soon as we put a name on it, it will real quickly be adopted as something that people recognize who live here in town. I just I personally support this very much. Any other discussion? All right, so we're ready for a roll call vote. Everybody will signify by saying aye or nay when Clerk Long calls the roll, please.
Councilmember Gooch,
Yes.
Councilmember Kelly,
Yes.
Councilmember Houlihan,
Yes.
Councilmember Roche,
Yes.
Councilmember Cummings,
Yes.
Councilmember Hutchins,
Yes.
Mayor Shoemaker.
Yes.
It's unanimous. Motion passed.
Thank you very much. Before we adjourn, I've been asked to make a couple of public service announcements, so I rise to a point of personal privilege announcements. Starting with the Golden Strip Pumpkin Patch has been moved from its normal location. This is mostly for those of you out there or any members of council who are present here in the meeting as well. But this is to make people aware, if they're not, that the pumpkin patch, which normally occurs in the past just below Trade Street between Southeast Main and the railroad tracks, has been moved next to Anita's Mexican Restaurant. And that's in the 800 block of Northeast Main on Alice Street. And the charity that is running the event this year is the Little White House. And they concentrate on meeting the needs of children with autism. So it's a very worthy cause, and just I want to make sure that everybody is aware that it didn't end. It just moved to a new location this year. And we thank them for sponsoring this event and providing pumpkins, and for Anita's for hosting them. I think that's a very generous thing to do. Next on our public announcements is to remind everyone that satellite voting is available here in Simpsonville at 310 West Curtis Street at the Simpsonville Activity and Senior Center. If you can see, I have my I voted sticker. The lines are there's a little bit of time involved in going over there to vote. I'm not sure whether it'll be more or less than what it would be on November 3rd, but I did want to make sure that everybody is aware that that satellite voting center is available. Their hours are 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, and they will be there this week, the next week, and the next week. They're closing on October the 30th. So I encourage everybody to take advantage of that. There are no restrictions. You do not have to have an excuse to go use the satellite voting center. You can, if you're a registered voter, you can go and vote. And then the last announcement that I'll make is I received a call from Coach Lee Judy at Hillcrest High School, and he just had to tell somebody about something that is really making a difference to the Hillcrest High School football team. There's a restaurant here in town, and I don't want to make it seem like we are sponsoring or endorsing a restaurant, so I won't name the name of the restaurant. But he is just, like I say, just really needed to tell somebody, so he thought of calling me, and I want to pass along that for the last couple of years, Warner Bozak has taken care of feeding the Hillcrest football team before every home game. And that's a good thing to do, and it's a very wonderful thing to do. But Coach Judy says that this year, when they have not been able to do their regular fundraising, that it has been incredibly important, and he's just very thankful for having Warner Bozak take care of the football team. We wanted to recognize Warner for his efforts, so thank you very much to him. With that, I believe we are ready to adjourn. Are there any objections? Then the Simpsonville City Council business meeting is adjourned. Thank you.